In this class, we will study relational data model in detail, how to apply things, how to apply relations in the data model. So here, the relational data model is the most common model in the industry today. This is based on E.F. Codd. Uh, he was the inventor of this uh, model. A relational database allows the definition of data structure, storage, and retrieval operations and integrity constraints. In such a database, the data and relations between them are organized into tables. A table is a collection of records, and each record in a table contains the same fields. We have properties of the relational database. Properties of relational tables. First is data is presented as a collection of relations. Means we have various tables and that data is presented as collection of different tables. Every entity represents a table. So now each relation is depicted as a table. Columns are attributes that belong to the entity modeled by the table. This is the example. Each row is now called as tuple. So now we have to update our dictionary so that we will call attribute as columns and row as tuple. So these new words we have to learn from now. All the columns are now, all the attributes are now columns and all the rows are now tuples. Every table has a set of attributes that taken together as a key. So we all know about key. What is key? Which uniquely distinguishes every tuple. Now we call it tuple. Every tuple of the table. So every tuple of the relation. So it is known as key. Here are some concepts and terminologies that we use. Tables in relational data model. Relations are saved in the format of tables. This format stores the relation among entities. A table has rows and columns where rows represent records and columns represent attributes. This is very simple to understand. We have table. Table has records. It has rows and columns, and the row represent records and column represent attributes. And then comes tuple, a single row of a table which contains a single record. For that relation is called a tuple. Then comes relation instance, a finite set of tuples in the relational database system represents relation instance. Relation instances do not have duplicate tuples. Then comes relation schema. Schema is the database description basically. A relation schema describes the relation name, table name, attributes and their names. So this is the relation schema. Then comes relation key. Each row has one or more attributes known as relation key, which can identify the row in the relation or table uniquely. We all know about key. What it does? It has the power to uniquely distinguish all the records or tuples. Attribute domain. Every attribute has some predefined value scope known as attribute domain. Then comes relational integrity constraints. Every relation has some conditions that must hold for it to be valid relation. These conditions are called relational integrity constraints. These are three main integrity constraints. First is key constraint, then domain constraints, then referential integrity constraints. We will study them in detail. So here we have an example. The diagram below shows a conceptual model with two associations. First is written by and then published by. The book entity. This is book entity. Type has a property publisher ID that references the entity key of the publisher. entity type when you define a referential integrity constraint on the published by association. And here we can see that we have uh, ISBN key, then we have title, revision, publisher ID in the book. But if you will see in publisher, we have ID, name, address, but in author, we don't have any publisher ID or anything. So how we will arrange relations between them? So this diagram is very conceptually showing all the relations and things. So here we will have to define referential integrity. Now, key constraints. There must be at least one minimal subset of attributes in the relation which can identify tuple uniquely. This minimal subset of attributes is called key for that relation. If there are more than one such minimal subsets, these are called candidate keys. So we all know that one key which is able to distinguish between all the tuples is key, and if there are more than one such key, then we call it candidate keys because there are many candidates for that key. So key constraints forces that in a relation with a key attribute, no two tuples can have identical value for key attributes. A key attribute cannot have null values. Key constraints are also referred to as entity constraints. So here we have two constraints, domain constraints and referential integrity constraint. Domain constraint states that attributes have specific value in real world scenario. For example, age can only be a positive integer. The same constraint have been tried to employ on the attributes of a relation. Every attribute is bound to have specific range of values. For example, age cannot be less than 0 and telephone numbers cannot be contain a digit outside 0 to 9. So what we understand about domain constraint? Domain constraint is that if somebody has asked you name, so your name will have spelling, your name will have some pronunciation. It cannot be like numbers or something. Okay, so everything has a particular uh, kind of standard value and it should not violate that. So this is domain constraint. Then we come to referential integrity. It is, states that it works on the concept of foreign keys. A foreign key is a key attribute of the relation that can be referred in other relation. Referential integrity constraint states that if a relation refers to a key attribute of a different or same relation, then that key element must exist. So, for example, if we have two tables and one table is a weak entity, so it is having a foreign key. So, basically, that so it is having primary key, but the other is containing the foreign key. So, if we are doing something with that foreign key, it should exist as primary key in the first table. So it should not happen that we are modifying or we are writing in that, but it on the first place it's not stored in the first table, so we cannot enter the values against foreign key in the other table. So this is the concept of differential integrity constraints. Now we have a table in which referential integrity is a property of data which, when satisfied, requires every value of one attribute column of a relation table to exist as a value of another attribute in a different relation. A foreign key is a column or combination of columns that is used to establish and enforce a link between the data in two tables. Just like here we have this table, primary key is the first one, then we have this table, this is the salesperson and this is sales order header sales. Here we have foreign key as salesperson ID. So how can we relate that? If we have this value salesperson ID in this table, it should have values of this. Suppose I am considering some value, a salesperson ID is having some value 10, and if that 10 value, for 10 value in this salesperson ID which is same as this, it doesn't contain any of this record, anything about the salesperson ID 10, then this is the violation of integrity or referential integrity constraint. This is the violation. So integrity means data integrity refers to maintaining and assuring the accuracy and consistency of data over its entire life cycle, and is a critical aspect to the design, implementation and usage of any system which stores, processes or retrieves data. So we have Relational database systems are expected to be equipped with a query language that can assist its users to query the database instances. There are two kinds of query languages. First is relational algebra and the second one is relational calculus. And project operator gives us the columns which we require. So if we require some subject name or author name of from the table books, so this we will have to apply this project operator, and the output will be selects and projects column name as subject and author from the relations books. So it projects column that satisfies a given predicate. This is the sign of project. A1, A2, AN can be the attribute names of the R relation. A1, A2 are attribute name of the relation R. Duplicate rows are automatically eliminated as the relation is a set. Now we have other operation, union operation. It performs binary union between two given relations, and it is defined as R union S. If we have two tables R and S, there will be union of them. So we all know about union, that if R has 1, 1, 2 and S has 2, 2, 3, then the resultant output table will have columns 1, 2 and 3. So, where R and S are either database relations or relation result, temporary relation, you can say. For a union operation to be valid, the following condition must hold. R and S must have same number of attributes. Attributes domain must be compatible. Duplicate tuples are automatically eliminated. For example, project, author, books, union, project, author, articles. Books and articles are the relations. This project operator is used to take the column names such as author and author from books and articles. And now we have joined with the help of union. So we will have all the author names from this. And if there are some duplicate tuples, they will be eliminated. So the output will be projects, the name of the authors who have either written a book or an article or both. Then comes set difference. The result of set difference operation is tuples which are present in one relation but are not in the second relation. So the notation is R minus S. It finds all the tuples that are present in R but not in S. For example, project author books minus project author articles. So it will provide the name of authors who have written books but not articles, because those authors have been subtracted from the author books. Now, Cartesian product, which is represented by the cross. So it combines information of two different relations into one. Notations is R cross S, where R and S are relations and their output will be defined as sigma author is equal to Nishant, then in brackets the relation names, that is books into articles. So the output will be, it will yield a relation which shows all the books and articles written by the author Nishant. Because we have applied this sigma on the tables, books and articles. So only that record will be brought out from these the Cartesian product of these two tables. Only we will get Nishant data. Now we have rename operation. So the result of relational algebra are also relations but without any name. The rename operation allows us to rename the output relation. So the notation is rho cross E. Where the result of expression E is saved with the name of X. Then comes relational calculus. In contrast to relational algebra, relational calculus is a non-procedural query language. That is, it tells what to do but never explains how to do. So here we have two kind of things, two forms, tuple relational calculus and domain relational calculus. In tuple relational calculus, the notation is like this. It filters variable ranges over tuples. It returns all the tuple T that satisfies a condition. So if in a table some notation will be there, some condition will be there, and according to that condition, these tuples T will be selected from the table and that will be the output. Okay, so for example, T dot name, suppose we want uh, all tuples that are having this name. Okay, so T dot name we want. Now the condition is that author of T and T dot article is equal to database. Okay, so that author of that tuples and the articles should be equal to database. The tuple article should be equal to database. So basically it returns the tuple with the name from author who has written article on database, because we have specified कि जो आर्टिकल है वो डेटाबेस पर ही होना चाहिए था और हमें ऐसे ऑथर्स के नाम बताओ जिन्होंने डेटाबेस पर आर्टिकल लिखा है। तो इस तरह के जो टपल्स हैं वो लिस्ट आउट हो जाएंगे, तो वही हमने टी डॉट नेम दिया हुआ है, तो ऐसे उनके नाम आ जाएंगे, बिकॉज हमने यहाँ पे उनको क्वेरी में बोला है कि हमको नेम चाहिए, वी वॉन्ट टी डॉट नेम ऑफ ऑल द ऑथर्स जिन्होंने की डेटाबेस पर आर्टिकल लिखा है। Domain relational calculus. This is the second form of relational calculus. In domain relational calculus, the filtering variable uses the domain of attributes instead of entire tuple values as done in tuple relational calculus. Notation is A1, A2, A3 up to AN, then P, A1, A2, A3 up to AN. So we have entire tuple values here and these are listed like this. A1, A2 are attributes and P stands for formulae built by inner attributes. For example, we have article, page, subject, then we have some Sahu or subject is equal to database. There exists Sahu and subject is equal to database. So it is article, pages, and subject from the relation Sahu where subject is database.